Alright, Ready Player One. Is Steven Spielberg going to continue to coast down this boring lane that he's been doing for the last decade, or is he actually going to make Hollywood blockbuster gold? And I actually think he has. So Ready Player One is a film adaptation of the 2011 book with the same name by Ernest Cline, but the film is starring Ty Sheridan, we have Olivia Cooke, we have Simon Pegg, we have Mark Rylance, and we have Ben Mendelsohn, among many other cast of actors and actresses that are actually pretty fantastic in this movie. But let's talk a little bit about some of the story. I'll tell you a little bit about the setup and what this entire thing is, what Ready Player One is, an amalgamation of so many things, nostalgia, and some of my pros and my cons, and might give you my overall score of the film. So the movie kind of starts out with Ty Sheridan's character, who is Wade Watts, who is in Columbus, Ohio in the 2040s. This is this future dystopian world, but Columbus, Ohio looks really terrible. It's really trashy. There's just piles and piles of car and just so many human just things that are just piled up, and they live in this kind of trailer tower, like there's just trailer park tower pretty much that they live up in, and just life kind of sucks. And so what they do, most people in the world actually escape into the Oasis. When the Oasis is this virtual reality world, this augmented reality created by James Holliday, who 5 years prior to the film starting has actually passed on. He has created this entire world of all of these things that pretty much anyone can be whatever they want to be. All these video games and all these worlds and movies and just all these different amalgamations of all nostalgia that is pretty much reminiscent of the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, which is kind of crazy because these things haven't really occurred too far in the past. But enter IOI, which are the bad guys of the movie, and they're led by Ben Mendelsohn's character, who is this bad guy who they're kind of this Nazi corporation because a lot of their employees are actually just have numbers instead of actual names, and they're seeking control of the Oasis. And what happened before with James Holliday is before he passed on, he actually issued a challenge for everyone in the Oasis to collect 3 keys and find this Easter egg. And this Easter egg actually gave complete control of the Oasis over to the sole proprietor of whoever finds all those keys and that Easter egg. And so IOI is really kind of gunning for that, while we have characters like Ty Sheridan's character, Wade Watts, who's him and his friends who are pretty much the best in the world. They don't know each other in the real world, but for Wade, he just wants to get out of this extreme poverty of the real reality that they're living in the real world, and that's the reason why he wants to just gain control of the Oasis, just to get out of that and help his family. So that's kind of the initial setup of this entire movie. We have the bad guys with IOI, and we have the good guys who don't really know each other but pretty much come together and try to stop this bad guy. It's a pretty typical kind of big blockbuster film, but what's different about this movie is it's all about nostalgia of things that actually have occurred in our world, hence all these movies, all these video games, all these books and references, these different kind of crazy things in culture, especially 80s culture. That's the one that is pretty much just hammered into this, but there's also 70s culture, 60s, 80s, 90s, you name it. I probably said 80s twice because 80s is the main thing. You see this trend, especially in today's culture, of just highlighting things from the past. I mean, I'm looking at You, Stranger Things, cough cough, or It Follows. There's so many modern examples of things that are just harkening back to, honestly, just a few decades ago. That's what I find strange about this film, is it's this nice kind of look back at what's going on just a few decades ago, and just this kind of cult personality, this worship of what's going on here. But this is also a movie about escapism. This movie is really hardcore into things and references to things that a lot of us really kind of grew up with, and honestly, maybe in 100 years from now, it's not going to be as relevant to that audience as much as it is relevant to us. And that's what I find really fascinating. It's this time capsule of what's going on in the world today. But besides all the visuals and all the cool nostalgia, there's a few cons as well in this movie. The character development is not as strong as I probably have wanted it to be. There are some solid characters, and the dialogue is kind of okay. Some of the dialogue is pretty witty and pretty funny, but overall, I thought this movie was pretty much a fantastic return to form for Steven Spielberg. This is a blockbuster hit from him, and I'm glad to see him back. I give this movie a 4 out of 5. It's definitely a movie you should watch. It's definitely something you should see on the big screen. If you're big into escapism and nostalgia, that's what this movie's all about. It's all about how many references there are. There's so many references to Godzilla, to King Kong, to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, to Chucky, to just so many things, and some unexpected ones that I'm going to leave you to watch yourself and figure out in the movie itself to find out. But I want to hear your thoughts on Ready Player One. What did you think of the movie? Did you think this was a good return to form for Steven Spielberg, or just another flop? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Give me a like. Don't forget to comment those thoughts down there, and also share this video, and also subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.